Hey guys, Nekrage here again, doing a video for the Warfare tree of Archeage, also known as Assault, and in the English Europe version of the game, it's known as Battlerage. You heard correct. Battlerage. Wow. Anyway, let me get in a duel, show you the abilities. First ability is Triple Blow. It changes every time you use it, 1, 2, and 3 times. The first 2 attacks are single target, and the third one is a small AoE range. So you'll see 1, 2, AoE, and you see I hit the amount 2 with it. It's kind of bad, because Finesse has a better spammable melee ability, and if you use Warfare and Finesse together, the Finesse one, Instantaneous Impact, is better. But I'm not saying you shouldn't get both. They're both spammable, but you should get both. It is extremely important to have Triple Blow because of the next ability. It's called Rush. It is your typical charge. Its range is despicably small, which is retarded, but it's the way it is right now. Hopefully that gets buffed. As you can see, I'm out of range right now to charge the target, which is retarded, but you'll see when I finally do charge the target, it'll immobilize her and do some damage. There you go. And then if you use Triple Blow right after, it can knock the target down, but fortunately it missed the root. So hold up one sec, let's try that again. I'm going to charge, it's going to root the target, do some damage, and I'm going to hit it with Triple Blow, it's going to knock her down. So, 1, 2, and that'll knock the target down. It'll allow you to get behind the target and do some back attacks. There's some abilities that work better from behind, which I will show you. Warfare tree has one, and the Finesse tree has another. Third ability is Whirlwind. It's your typical Whirlwind that just does damage around. Boom. And it pushes them back slightly. Very, very slightly. Which is actually, I've seen it cancel casts. So yeah, I've seen it knock players back enough to cancel a cast because they moved. And then I've seen it not work before. But maybe I can just blame that on the lag on the Russian servers. We'll see though. The target can be knocked down with this if the target is slowed. It can knock down the enemy. Which I will show you with the next ability. This ability, Earthquake. Kinda bad for PvP, but in 1.0 there's going to be a way, there may be a way to instantly cast this ability. It's not confirmed yet, but Earthquake, it does damage, does AoE damage. Enemies that get hit by it and that are in this circle it creates are slowed, and allies take 20% less damage for 7 seconds. It's nice, it's a good ability, but the cast time makes it kind of bad in PvP when people are just running out. You kind of need a stun to go off beforehand. Then you cast Earthquake, so you can hit them before they can get out. I'll show you why it's so good, though. I'm going to cast Earthquake on her. Boom, Earthquake, and now Whirlwind. And it'll AoE knock down people. So you can hit Earthquake on, I don't know, 10 people, and then use a Whirlwind, and boom, 10 people are on the floor. And it does some nasty damage. And in addition, while you stand in it, you take less damage, and they are slowed. And that works for your team as well. It'll actually reduce the damage your team takes. Next ability is Lasso. It is one of the best abilities in the tree because it can almost instantly kill a player. It doesn't do any damage, but it'll allow your team to, like, just wreck someone. For instance, I don't know, maybe you're close to another boat. You and your team are up against another enemy boat. You can lasso the person, even off their mount, right to you from across the boat. The range is 20 meters, so it's a lot longer than what we just pulled, but it'll pull from this distance pretty much, and you can just rip them over towards you off their mounts, off of ships, gliders, I mean anything. You can really just rip them towards you, and you can just tell your team, yo, I'm lassoing someone, yank, and everyone targets him and just deletes him in a second. See, the range is pretty nice, not bad. Anyway, next ability, Battle Cry. Do not look at the description of it. It is messed up. What it does is it reduces the duration of stuns on you and knockdowns on you, and it also increases it. It does the same thing to enemies, but increases it. But you have to be near the enemies when you use it. I'm going to use Battle Cry right now. The duration of knockdown, stun, root, and slow is increased by 20%, and it's reduced by 20% for you. The heavy armor also reduces stun and immobilize effects by 20%, and that works hand in hand. Those stack. There's also a passive in defense that reduces by 20%. So if you have this popped, you're wearing full heavy armor, and you got that talent in defense, your stuns are like next to nothing. It is, it's really good. And it affects Immobilize as well. Anyway, break chains. Remove slow and root effects. And it makes you immune to it for 3 seconds. It may not seem like much, but she's casting an AoE slow right now. She can't touch me. There you go. Wore off and now she can. It may not seem like much, but getting immobilized or slowed as a melee, that's like pretty much death for you. It's bad. So this is one of the only abilities in the game that can remove immobilize and slows. In fact, it is the only ability in the game that can remove these slows and roots. Anyway, next ability is Phantom Blow. This thing hits hard. If it crits, it hits very hard. It does a high amount of damage. If it crits from behind, it does 3 times the normal crit damage. If you're behind the target, I'm sorry, if it crits at all, it does 3 times the normal crit damage. But if you're behind the target, there's 40% more critical strike chance. So, you'll, for instance, you'll, face me for a sec. You'll charge the opponent, knock them on their ass, go behind them, and then boom! Now, if that crit, unfortunately it did not, if that crit, she'd be near death. Let's try it one more time, see if we can get it to crit. I'll wait for this cooldown. But it works very, very well with an ability in Finesse that also has a back attack. Take a look at my Finesse skill tree and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's nasty. You can do some very, very high burst damage that someone's at 100% health and then, boom, they're sitting at like 20%. They don't know what the hell happened. So charge. Ah, she dodged it, but I'll go behind her anyway. There you go. There's a nice crit. See the amount of health it took down. It's nasty and it's very, very hard. And you keep the attacks going, you'll kill her very, very quick. Next ability is, ooh, it's nasty. You attack, you pop this buff. Every time you hit someone, you get a buff that stacks. You get 30 attack power and 30 spell power every time you land a hit on someone. That's a lot, and it stacks up, so it's a lot. You also take 21% less spell damage. I know it says less damage, that's not true. There's also a lot of missing stuff over here. When the effect ends, you get stunned. You personally get stunned. I know, it's a debuff. In addition, it will lower your protection. Take a look at this. Rage. Okay, it's popped. Watch every time I get a hit on someone. See? My protection goes down, my spell and attack on melee goes up. So as my protection is going down, and this stacks really high. So she's going to heal herself now so she doesn't die. And you'll see my damage start going up like crazy. The buff lasts a pretty long time. It's still got 13 seconds left on it. So if you get like, I don't know, you're dual wielding something, you can build up stacks very, very fast. And then when you hit someone from behind, it crit. You see how much damage it did. It's could potentially one-shot almost anyone in the game. It's insane. But now you see I'm stunned. So this is very bad if it runs out during combat. But if you're fighting a small amount of people, or maybe you're fighting a large amount of people, and you pop that, you get a kill or 2, maybe 3, and you run the hell out of there, tell your team, hey, I'm going to get stunned, I'm going to need some heals maybe. Get your heals, or sit out of combat for a second, let it wear off, then go back in, because you really don't want to be stunned for that long of a duration. And there is nothing that can take that stun off of you. Iron Will from Will, that lets you remove stuns, doesn't work with it. So you're screwed. You're going to get stunned no matter what. But it makes you take more physical damage, makes you take less magical damage, makes you do more physical and magical damage. So if you got a hybrid spell build, it could work with it. And you hit like a truck. Anyway, next ability. This allows you to parry like crazy and reduce the cooldowns of your abilities. This works very, very well hand in hand with another passive. I'm going to go over the passive right now. I usually save them for last, but I'm going to show you it real quick. Increase your chance to parry by 2%. When an attack is parried, the cooldown of all combat skills except the ability we're talking about and the previous ability, Rage. Those will not be reset. But let's try to put some abilities on cooldown. I'll put Earthquake on cooldown. I'll put Charge on cooldown. Put this on cooldown and this. Now I'm going to pop my increased parry chance. Now I'll see if I can get a parry on. Watch my cooldowns. There, parried. Boom. A lot of cooldowns just came back up. and it could happen again. So it adds more survivability to you, more parry chance, so you survive a lot more, and it'll bring your cooldowns up very quickly, so it allows you to be more offensive and defensive. It's not a bad ability, but you got to keep in mind it's only against other melee. You know, spellcasters aren't going to be meleeing you. I personally don't like it because it really requires you to take 2 talents. The 2% parry is not much, but the parry itself is great for it to reset your cooldowns. So you really need to grab this and the passive. If you grab one or the other, they really aren't working too well alone. So I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, either you grab both or you grab none. Unless you're a tank, of course. If you're a tank, you can grab both, and that's great. It's great for PvE. Makes you stay alive a lot. Now, the last and final ability in the Assault Tree is Bolt of Heaven. I wish we had more targets here, because I'd really show you how it worked, but we got 2. Spread out a little bit. So they're going to spread out slightly. Okay. Now I'm going to use this Bolt of Heaven. It lets you leap onto a target. It's a 20-meter range, so it's good to initiate as well. You see a bunch of people standing together. It'll jump between targets, like bounce between them. You can only hit each target once. I wish you could hit each target more than once, so you just bounce in between 2 targets and do some massive damage, but that is not the case. You can hit 5 enemies, and it cannot be dodged, blocked, or anything. You are going to hit them. So, Bolt of Heaven, boom, boom. You'll bounce between targets, and it does some nasty damage. Also threw the target away. So, it's cool. It's cool if you use it between a group of enemies. You really could screw them up. You could do some nasty AoE damage. Of course, you might want to enter combat first with a charge, pop Rage, start building up the charges, and then Bolt of Heaven, boom, 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 boom. You do some nasty damage, and then you pick your single target you want to eliminate, and you just start bouncing between targets that are on low health, and you just knock them down. Okay, on to the passives. Increase the melee weapon damage by 8%. Pretty cut and dry what it does. This is wrong. This is not what this passive does. This does not increase the accuracy when dual wielding. Do not even look at this. It allows you to parry ranged attacks when dual wielding. I don't know why it says accuracy. That is not the case. I wish it was the case. It'd be great. But it's not. It allows you to parry ranged attacks if you're dual wielding. That ability is getting changed, though, a lot. It is not going to stay like that. It might actually be changed to accuracy while dual wielding, but that is not the case right now. Next ability is increase attack speed by 4%. I've gone over this before. Attack speed affects global cooldown. It is very important. So if people think, oh, why do I need attack speed? I don't care about my white damage. White damage, you know, it's just auto attacks. It's not just this. It's not just auto attacks. It'll allow you to spam abilities quicker, because they have a pretty fast attack speed. The lag on the Russian servers also make it seem a little slower, but increased attack speed, it means a lot. You'll see if you use Blockade, which for the defense tree, that increases your attack speed. Use an ability like this, Triple Blow with Blockade, when you get your attack speed buff. It's amazing. You'll really see a difference. Turning Blades, we went over the parry and the reset of cooldowns in the Assault Tree. Piercing. This ability is getting nerfed to 2,000 armor reduction. When you land a crit, it reduces the enemy's physical defense by 3,000. This is great because archers on your team usually don't have it, because they usually don't have the Assault Tree, because that's just terrible with the Harassment Archer Tree. But when I crit, you'll see a debuff appear. There you go, on the enemy. Lowers the target's defense by 3,000. She's gonna have like 0 defense right now, because 3,000 protection, that's a lot. That's why it's getting nerfed to 2,000. Still really good, even at 2,000. That's almost all armor. You get that on someone, the archers will do more damage because their damage is physical. Melee is going to be doing more damage, and of course you yourself are melee, so it's good. Very good ability. But that's it for the Warfare Tree. Boom. Aww. Well, that's it for the Warfare Tree. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe and check out my other class videos. If anyone's interested in a hardcore Archeage US guild, please check us out, the Oran'Thul. Our website will be linked in an annotation and in the description. We also accept casual players, not just people who consider themselves hardcore. So, thanks for watching, all that good stuff. Subscribe and blah 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 blah. Later.